Alexis Nunes alongside Janusz Michallik. Janusz, I'll tell you what, in my last 3 years here in the UK, I've been to the Emirates twice. I've seen Arsenal lose twice, and both times were against Brighton. And here we go again. Arsenal losing to Brighton at the Emirates. They have been a thorn in the Gunners' side today, but this one was a controversial loss, I guess we could say. Arsenal didn't seem that they were helping themselves too much until the end, where they huffed and puffed and tried to blow that house down for Brighton, but the Seagulls held on. Janusz, where do you even want to start? First of all, let's start with the controversial bit. Gabriel Martinelli seemed to pull one back for Arsenal, but VAR intervened. What did you make of that decision?
I don't know why that decision happened. Of course, I mean, I'm sure, give it another few hours and tomorrow, maybe there's going to be some explanation, because certainly it wasn't conclusive on the pitch. And I guess that's where you have a problem with it, because when you think about offside, that's one decision that's not subjective, right? You're either on or you're off.
You think.
Right? 99.9% of the time, definitely there's no decision to be made or interpretation of offside. And even though, when I look at it, when I saw it, the gut tells you that he is. We, of course, don't get the right angle sometimes, and we don't know. So when Gabriel heads that ball across, all we see is the foot of Robert Sanchez, the goalkeeper, but we know that Cucurella is right in front, but we just can't tell where and how that is. So this is the one time that I think you almost have to say, because you don't know, because it's inconclusive, the referee didn't make a clear and obvious mistake, even though clear and obvious doesn't come in on offside situations. So that's where I have a problem with that in general, because I mean, you almost think that you have to let that stand. If VAR and every camera that's in the stadium can't tell, at least from what we've seen, we haven't seen the lines going through, because you just don't see it through it. So that was difficult for me, and I'm sure it's difficult for Arsenal supporters. So I'm not sure why they made that decision and based on what, because they didn't show us any look that would tell you 100% that it's offside, and that's what offside's supposed to be. You're either on or you're off, and that was just before halftime. And of course, it's a massive decision. Going on to the game. I mean, one decision shouldn't change the fact that Brighton did win the game. Also, shouldn't change the fact that they went 2-0 up after scoring a wonderful goal. I mean, incredible goal. Combination play where Caicedo just a 1-2 with Trossard, a little bit of a flick, then he cuts it back and one-touch finish from 18 yards away. So that was just tremendous from Brighton, who themselves don't score many goals. And in the end, Odegaard, big deflection there, 2-1, made it a little bit interesting. But for Arsenal, we thought, you and I talked about Manchester United being perhaps out of the fight for that fourth spot. Arsenal now kind of, gives them a way out. We'll see what Spurs do against Aston Villa. And there's West Ham, of course, that are still interested in playing Brentford. So there we have it. Arsenal didn't bounce, did they, really, from that a bad loss to Crystal Palace?
I mean, as I said, back-to-back losses now for Mikel Arteta and Arsenal. And naturally, that VAR decision is something that Arsenal fans will definitely feel hard done by. I'm sure they'll continue to talk about it. But usually these things tend to be a crutch that, you try to lean on as an excuse after losing a match. But overall, how would Mikel Arteta see this performance from Arsenal? Because like I said, it looked at earlier on, it didn't seem like they were helping themselves very much until it was a little too late.
Because they were light in the midfield, and I said Mikel Arteta admitted his mistake with the lineup at halftime, did he not? Of course, Kieran Tierney is a massive loss for them. We know that Tavares had a very, very tough time against Crystal Palace, so Mikel Arteta put Xhaka there, and I thought at first, before I saw the lineup, I was like, well, Xhaka there, that's gonna be a difficult, against anybody. But Enoch Mwepu came in and did a tremendous job, not only having an assist but also scoring, because on the first goal he assisted tremendously, cutting the ball back, and although Xhaka was out of position, everybody was kind of blaming him. It was one of those plays where I think Xhaka was doing a good job initially, putting pressure, making Brighton play backwards, and then all of a sudden Dunk plays this long ball. I wouldn't even actually look at Xhaka on this one as much as maybe Gabriel, because he could have slid over when that long ball was going towards Mwepu. But the bottom line is that I think Arsenal needed Xhaka in the midfield, because with Odegaard and Emil Smith-Rowe, and Lokonga, who hasn't played much as of late anyway. Obviously, that was going to be light. Bissouma all by himself there is a tough one to manage. So, but he's changed that at halftime. I thought it was a little bit better, but again, I think every so often, if you look at Arsenal, they've had a little bit of momentum, right? They've lost against Palace. That's where I looked. I mean, that Palace loss and the manner in which they lost maybe is a consequence of what's happening here, because before that Arsenal were good. Take away that Liverpool loss, right? I mean, it's Liverpool, it's no shame. Big win, I think, was at the Villa away, right? I mean, they had that momentum. It's a young squad. You take Partey away, you take Tierney away. It just goes to show that they're still not as deep as they need to be, right? And today was an example of that.
And then just speaking about that and what the work that Mikel Arteta needs to continuously do Arsenal now, of course, at the time of this recording, Spurs have a huge chance now against Villa to really put some more space in between them and Arsenal. Is Arsenal's top four hopes kind of looking a bit dim right now?
You say they are. I mean, as we've said, look what's happening. Say Spurs lose in this one, right? I mean, West Ham may just get involved if they can manage Brentford. But as I've said, I think they're not as deep. We'll see how long it takes. We know Tierney's out. We know Thomas Partey is going to be out for a little bit. Look, they have Saints away based on what Chelsea did to Saints. Who knows? But it's not going to be easy. But then it's, crazy games, Chelsea, United, West Ham, Spurs for Arsenal. I mean, it starts to be super, super difficult. We all knew that Arsenal was going to have a tough end to the season, and it just makes you wonder. If you look at the numbers, if you look at the points, I should say, you'd like to think that, wait, nobody wants that fourth spot for the most part, right? And you see it a chance, but given the schedule that Arsenal have, how young they still are, maybe we got too excited a little bit about the progress. Definite progress under Mikel Arteta this season, but that schedule looks too tough for me.
And then I suppose tactically speaking, just on the point that I raised at the start, that this is the third time I've seen Arsenal absolutely struggle with Brighton. Brighton seem to have their number every now and again. What is it about Brighton and their setup and how they play that seems to trouble Arsenal more often than not, you think?
Well, I just think it's a team that's very much like Arsenal. They want to play, and they're not afraid to play. They don't, home or away, they'll put you under pressure, which we saw today. So as I've said, on the right-hand side, when I saw Xhaka at first, I thought maybe, well, it's going to be against Lamptey. My goodness, just the pace alone, right? And it wasn't Tariq Lamptey. He was on the bench, but Mwepu comes in. I mean, this is a team that can put you under pressure, and they can take the ball away from you. And for Arsenal, obviously, especially playing at home, they're the sort of team that would like to keep possession. I didn't look at the final numbers, not that it matters, but we all know the quality of Brighton, don't we? I mean, they've struggled for what I think, if you just don't look how many goals, because they don't have a goal scorer. And let's face it, Arsenal do not as well. Today, another example of that. It's not the fact that maybe they've missed, 3 or 4 incredible chances. That wasn't the case, but you just don't have that one player that the opponent is going to be afraid of. Somebody that will create something out of nothing. And that continues to be the problem for Arsenal. Same with Brighton as well. But ultimately, it's two teams that know how to play well, and it's just difficult to find these opportunities because Brighton was just a little bit better today in that.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.